My name is Ruth Lobo Shaw. Welcome to our presentation, Abortion, How We Will End the Killing in Our Life. So I am the activist and facilitator for the Canadian Centre for Bioethical Reform. I first came to know CCBR in 2010 when I participated in their summer internship program. And I was so sold and edified on the strategies that they were using that I took them back to my own campus, Carleton University, where myself and several other pro-lifers were arrested for attempting to put up the Genocide Awareness Project. Since that time, I've become a full-time staff member with CCBR, and I'm delighted to be your MC for this evening. So this evening's program will be as follows. We will first sing our national anthem together. Followed by that, I will introduce to you the team of the New Abortion Caravan, and then I will introduce to you our speakers for this evening, and then we will have a question period. So I'd first like to ask everyone to please turn off any electronics they might have or anything that might make noise. Except for babies. So to sing our national anthem this evening, I'd like to invite up Lauren Kafuk. Lauren is a summer intern with us at CCBR. She has a background in theater and she has a very lovely voice. So please stand as we sing our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command, cantam brate porte fea, il se porte la gloire. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
So I'd now like to introduce to you the team of the New Abortion Caravan. These are some brave young men and women who have traveled across Canada for the past 35 to 40 days, who have braved their reputations, have had eggs thrown at them, chocolate milk thrown at them, and have gone on so bravely and have changed the hearts and minds of so many young people across this country. So please join me in welcoming up the team of the New Abortion Caravan.
Hello, good evening. My name is Anya. I'm 26 years old and I'm from Edmonton, Alberta. And I was volunteering with a graphic display called the Genocide Awareness Project. And I had a long conversation with a young girl who didn't think that the unborn was human, but after we talked about the science, she agreed that yes, they are human beings. However, she still felt that they were not persons. So what I told her was that throughout history, anytime that anyone has separated any group and said that they are not persons, even though they're humans, great injustices have happened. And I pointed behind me at the photos of the genocide in Rwanda and at the genocide at Wounded Knee and the Holocaust. And she looked at those images for several minutes. Then she looked back at me and she said, "I will never again separate personhood from being a human being."
Good evening, my name is Cameron Cote. I'm 22 years old from Victoria, British Columbia. And just a couple of days ago, while doing Choice Chain in Toronto, I approached two young women and asked them what they thought about abortion. And one of them said that she had never thought about abortion before, and the other one said that she was pro-choice. We proceeded to have a 15 or 20 minute conversation, and at the end, they both thanked me for my arguments, and when I asked them again what they thought about abortion, the girl that had originally said that she had never thought about it before said, well, I'm definitely pro-life now. And the second girl, who had originally said that she was pro-choice, said that she was definitely leaning towards the pro-life position, but that she needed to think about it a little bit more.
Hello, my name is Carolyn Snurland and I grew up in Lethbridge, Alberta. I'm 21 years old. Last week in Toronto doing Choice Chain, I was holding baby Elliot, who joined us for 3 weeks of the tour, and I was talking to a man who agreed that abortion was wrong, but he was willing to make an exception in the case of rape. I went through all the typical arguments about how a child conceived in rape is no different than a child conceived in love, but it didn't sway him because he was not willing to make that choice for the woman. So then I looked down at little Elliot and I pointed at him and I was like, well, what if Elliot had been conceived in rape? And seeing him now at 3 months old reminds him, his mother, every day of the rape. Would she be allowed to kill him now because he reminds her of the rape? And he looked at me and said, I see where you're going. You've convinced me.
So we're so appreciative of enthusiasm, but we do want to get through the testimonies to get on with the presentation, not keep you guys here all night. So if you wouldn't mind holding your applause to the end, that would be great. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lauren Kafuk, and I'm from Powell River, British Columbia. And I recently, 2 nights ago, stayed up very, very late, editing 49 testimonies like the ones that you've heard from our team, and that's just a handful of the hearts and minds that have been changed on this tour. I just want to throw that number out there. That's not even the full number of the testimonies that we've collected on the tour. Now myself, I was just doing Choice Chain on Canada Day, and I talked to a boyfriend and a girlfriend who both identified themselves as pro-life. We talked about the science of when life begins, as well as the personhood and humanity of the preborn child. And by the end of the conversation, the guy was totally sold. He said, I'm sold, I get it, it's wrong. And the woman beside him said, I'm against all abortions, except for in the case of rape, but she said, I acknowledge that it is killing an innocent human being. So hopefully it won't take too much longer for her.
Hi, my name is Deborah Gilman. I'm 21 and Ottawa is my hometown. Just yesterday in Canada Day, I was standing right in front of Parliament Hill doing Choice Chain, and I was holding a sign of a 10-week-old aborted fetus. And 4 young people came up to me, and they all said that they had been pro-choice, but they were absolutely shocked to see my picture. They were shocked to see how developed it was, and as we continue to talk about abortion and all the different circumstances that can surround unplanned pregnancy, they were just completely shocked that Canadians could be killing innocent preborn children. And one of the young men said to me, after I told him about how many Canadians had abortions every year, he said to me, it's because they haven't seen these pictures. And then when I was encouraging him to get involved, he said he'd check out our website, and I said, don't forget to check out the website to learn how you can get involved. And he said, I won't forget. You can't.
My name is Dan Zelani. I'm 22 years old, and I was born and raised in Thunder Bay, Ontario. And after attending a CCBR presentation, I brought home a DVD that had graphic abortion images on it, and I left it on my coffee table. Not knowing what it was, the rest of my family popped it in the DVD player and started to watch it. They very quickly decided to become pro-life, but the best part of the story is that a few months later, my sister had an unplanned pregnancy and chose life for my niece.
My name is John Henkoop. I am 25. I am from Lethbridge, Alberta. I was attending a genocide awareness project when a young woman walked up early in the conversation. She explained to me that she had heard about it, and when she had heard about the display, she said, I thought I would hate you for it. And she also very early told me that she had just recently had a friend that had had an abortion, and throughout an hour-long conversation, she looked at the images for long periods without talking, and toward the end of the conversation, she said, ignorance certainly isn't bliss.
I'm overwhelmed by tall over here. My name is Amber Miller. I'm from Burlington, Ontario, and I'm 19 years old. A couple nights ago, we were doing a presentation in Toronto, the same presentation you'll be seeing tonight. My sister brought along one of her close friends who, on the way there, said that she was pro-choice. On the way home, after seeing the graphics that you will be seeing tonight, she said that she was 100% pro-life.
My name is Rebecca Richmond. I grew up in the Ottawa Valley. I went to school here in Ottawa, and I currently reside in Toronto, where I work for National Campus Life Network that promotes the pro-life message on university campuses. And in Toronto, I was asked a young man on the streets what he thought about abortion, and he looked at me and he said, "I lost 3 kids to abortion." And after talking a little bit longer, I was able to give him a Silent No More awareness card. And he said, "Thank you so much for this. Thank you for being here."
My name is Elena Gomez. I'm 23 and from Kelowna, BC. About 2 months ago, I went to the first birthday party of a little boy named Adrian. And my husband and I became friends with Adrian's mom when she was about 6 months pregnant. And at the time when she met my husband, she was telling him about how she had had an abortion scheduled for Adrian. On her way to work in the days leading up to her abortion appointment, she saw these young people standing on the streets of Calgary with signs of children who had been killed by abortion. And so, after seeing these signs for several days, she decided that she couldn't do that to her baby. And she still has the pamphlet that one of our volunteers gave to her. And so she told my husband this, not knowing that it was him and our colleagues who were on the streets during those days.
I'm Anna. I was born and raised in Germany, and I'm 19 years old. I was talking to a philosophy student at one of our displays in Vancouver. He said abortion was okay because the unborns are not persons. He was going to leave, so I gave him this little fetus. He kept it in his hands, holding it until we finished our conversation. Afterwards, he went over to the protesters, defending the pro-life view.
Hello, I'm Emil Boink from Cornwall, Ontario. At a genocide awareness project, I was talking to a young man about my age. He came up to the display really angry and upset. And so I talked to him for a bit, handed him a pamphlet, and he went down, sat down, looked at it, came back, talked to a few other girls, and at the end of the day he came back to me and said, "Thank you for being here, you've totally changed my mind."
My name is Siobhan O'Kane. I'm 19 and from Castleton, Ontario. While doing choice chain in Hamilton, I noticed a woman staring at the sign that I was holding. After a few moments, I asked her what she thought about abortion, and she said, "I'm Roman Catholic and was pro-choice until I saw this. Seeing this image changes everything. I can no longer support abortion."
I'm Jojo Ruba, 36, from Winnipeg, Manitoba, but I went to Carleton University here in Ottawa to study journalism. And that was my career path until I met a man named Scott Klusendorf, who challenged me to work full-time in pro-life ministry. And that's the same challenge we've given these young men and women over here, because we've passed that message on and been so encouraged to see the growth of what we're doing. And these aren't the only ones. I spoke at a church a few years ago when a 10-year-old girl who was walking by accidentally saw the graphic images that we were showing as part of the presentation. She raised her hand, she said to me, "Jojo, how can this happen? I want to be Prime Minister one day, so I can put an end to this."
Hi, my name is Mike Shooten. I'm 36 years old and I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm also the campaign director for weneedalaw.ca, those small cards you see on your chairs. I was with this great group of young women and men when they launched this cross-country tour in Vancouver, and I'm very thankful to have joined them for the last week. The mission of weneedalaw.ca is to build a groundswell of support for federal abortion legislation. Right now in Canada, a majority of us desire to see restrictions placed on abortion. And it's our hope that the pro-life movement can unite in having that strong public opinion, which is getting much stronger thanks to the great work of CCBR, to have that reflected in public policy, in law. Because we truly believe that step by step, legislative initiative after legislative initiative, we will end the killing in Canada. But we can't do it without your help, and so I'd like to invite you to check out our website, weneedalaw.ca, and use the tools there to convey that message to the men and women in the House of Commons, the men and women who have the duty and calling to protect all Canadians, no matter their location. Thank you.